not about your ego at that point. It's about you really serving the craft, serving the record, serving the best that this thing could be. We had this with Uzi. When you first brought Uzi to me when we was doing like the Money Longer records, Uzi was so stuck on how his vocal sounded. He wanted specific reverbs, So me and Cannon was like, cool, we'll let him have that, but we gonna go hard on these tracks.
Yeah, sure.
We're gonna make sure this bangs. We're gonna make sure it hits. So that now, to this day, I can't tell you how many people be like, man, XO Tour Life, that mix sounds so good. Because Uzi...
Hey man, this is a table right here. This is a real table, man.
Facts.
A real table. 40 plus Grammys, 500 billion streams. Let me add my little 14 billion streams. 100 billion streams. This is 100 billion streams. But this is what I call the goat farm. You know what I mean? I call that because we're a bunch of goats walking around. Leslie has a saying, he's not the goat. He fits the description. I'm going to debunk that and say he is a fucking GOAT. You know what I'm saying? I go by the name of Don Cannon, Rook Flair, Miles Walker, Leslie Brathwaite, and my man Colin Leonard. Today is very special because we spent the last episode talking about the GOAT. You know what I'm saying? We had a lot of praise. I think we had about 45 minutes of the hour conversation talking about the L man, you know what I'm saying? And the reason I'm saying L because last episode we talked about being timeless and what timeless meant. Where we're starting today, and I'm gonna tell you, I start backwards and we end up in a good space.
Okay.
Today's word is legacy, and what does it mean? I'll throw it out in the middle. We don't have to start counterclockwise, clocking. But legacy, how important is it?
I'll start. I think it's very important. For me, when I think about it and how I move, I think it's one of the things that drives me, and it's why I'm so into teaching, so into taking care of the culture of this art of mixing and music. So I think it's important. I think that's what I hope is going to be my legacy is all the people I've taught, whether it's Miles, whether it's a lot of other people, something they took away from me that contributes to how they do their thing. That's huge.
Yeah.
I always think music is like a gilded profession where if you're lucky enough to have some success, you owe it to kick it down to the next generation and bring it up.
Thanks.
And I was that way with Leslie, and then, I had a great assistant that I was able to pass on stuff, and I hope that's part of a legacy is if you consider yourself a good contributor, you also put somebody else in place to contribute after you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I agree. I think for me, the legacy thing was always cognizant. I was like, man, we got to leave our sound, our imprint in the game somehow, some way. And we have a few guys that were underneath us and that have great careers like Black Metaphor and whatnot.
Great career.
And so if we could teach the new generation, I don't care if they sound exactly like us. It's still good music. I don't care. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I think for me, it's like trying to make sure that the music that I put out is as good a quality as possible, like constantly.
Mm-hmm.
Doing the very best job and keeping in mind like the older guys that did mastering, like Bob Ludwig and Bernie Grunman, that did mastering at such a high level. And keeping that quality for the new music, I think, is really important.
It is very important. I just wanted to have that as the starting point because legacy gets a bad rep, especially in music. When we're going out and you got the young guys and then you're talking to label heads, you're talking to these people, the first thing they say is, we have legacy acts. Legacy acts makes you feel old. Right. It doesn't mean that you're building. You can build a legacy in 6 months if you do the right thing. I've seen people sell Venmo in a year and make $800 million. That's a legacy. You know what I'm saying? Because Venmo was what it was. And that builds into what you were saying. And I'm gonna nickname him the Final Touch. You know what I'm saying? That's Colin Final Touch Leonard. Yeah. How important, and we're moving in the AI world, how important is personal touch versus the algorithm?
I mean, for me, it's everything. It's your taste.
Yep.
Right? It's a tiny little imprint of small moves in mastering that kind of give the song its vibe and its feeling. And a lot of times, it's Rook will sit in here with me when I'm mastering sometimes, and it's just like, probably doesn't look like I'm doing much, but it's like a half dB here and there, and it adds up to a big change in the feeling of the song at the end. So, like, that's the thing about AI. It maybe couldn't copy like a sound of another song, but that's not the same song. That's not the same instruments. Might not be the same key. So the vibe and the feeling of that song is all these like personal decisions. And like the human ear is so sensitive in comparison to any type of microphone or any scan or meter. So I think it's like really important to have that taste, because like those are all the songs that you experienced when you were growing up too, that go into all those decisions.
Yeah, I mean, as professionals, we're learning how to use AI and incorporate it in certain spaces. But same question goes to you, personal touch. I know you're a guy of feel. You know what I'm saying? I have to put my taste into this. What's your thoughts on it?
So my thoughts on AI specifically versus the human touch and feel and everything. I've said this many a time. There is, in my opinion, there's something, a computer, an algorithm, a program, I don't care how advanced it can learn, there is one thing that it will never be able to do. And it's this is something that we do as human beings every single day. We do it almost every moment. We do it subconsciously. We calculate based on mistakes. And even if you write the best robust program to calculate on mistakes and everything else, you actually described it best one time when you were talking about how you made the Cannon beat for Wayne. And when I heard what you sampled that from, and then it was I believe it was a mistake that you slowed it down, and then and then something else triggered in your brain. That was a visceral feeling.
Right.
Even at its best, and trust me, I'm a forethought. I'm big on technology. I'm big on all of that. But there's a calculated destination from a mistake that I just don't think a computer or AI or technology will ever be able to dial in like a human. Because part of what we're calculating is visceral feelings like, did it make me feel bad? Did it make me feel good? Ooh, that sounds crazy. Never heard that before. Da-da-da.
Yeah.
You can compile a lot of things on data.
Yeah.
But reacting off of mistakes is one of the most beautiful things about creativity.
Yeah.
It's along with those same ideas, it's the level of discernment against perfection.
Yeah.
Because AI's goal is to make it perfect, fast, exact, in line with everything else that it's digested to come up with that algorithm. But your discernment, I've heard this before. It needs this to not be like that. That's what's going to make this special. AI doesn't know how to do that. AI knows how to make it like something that was already there. So the discernment in the changes you make, that's what AI is lacking, and I think always will.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I think, like Leslie, I love AI stuff. I love being forward thinking, using it as a tool. But being a creative, I think that where AI is lacking, it'll never have. You can't program this. You can't program the AI to have a need, right? So music, food, all that stuff, a lot of that stuff is created out of necessity.
Yep.
You know
Absolutely.
what I'm saying? AI will never have a necessity.
Right.
You know what I mean? It'll never have a need to make something. It always needs us to put in the
And learn.
yeah.
Yeah.
So it's always gonna need us.
Yeah.
It could teach itself probably to to do certain things, but it can't teach itself to create something out of nothing. You know what I'm saying? There's like this, like it's not gonna be able to create a new genre of music.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
It can't. It's impossible because the genre of music comes from life experience.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I think that going to what you guys said, the algorithm versus personal touch is very important in a certain role. You know what I mean? These roles definitely important. You know what I'm saying? I always look at Weird Science, like the movie back in the day, and I'm just like, man, what if I just had somebody that would do everything I wanted to do? You hear these stories about artists that have lookalikes, and they don't go to the show, and the lookalike goes to the show. You know what I'm saying? I always wanted to be that person. Like, man, what if I couldn't DJ because I was tired that night, and somebody was just me, and I could just do the mix? And I never once thought about cheating and saying, yo, I'm a pre-mix at this wedding and just act like I'm DJing. You know what I mean? Based on that. And you brought up a good point, and that's what my segue was. Before we get to it, space and being in your own space and being in your own character while you're working, how important is that before we get to the DJ part? I know quite a few of us would rather not have anybody in the room while we're creating. There's some times where I've had to have people in the room so I can just side eye and see whose head's nodding, you know what I'm saying, while I'm creating or whatever. But how important is space, like when you're just getting in your zone, you're calibrating your speakers, you're getting in your vibe, you might play a video game, you might just decompress, you might speak to your family, like space in creating. I think people would like to know like how important that is and how to get focused.
Yeah, I mean, I love having my professional studio and space and come in and have that separation from home to work.
Yep.
And have that mindset change. You know, you have that drive, your mindset changes, you come in and it's like a quiet space in the studio to work without distractions. I think that's the biggest thing that kind of like at home, you know, you have more distractions, I feel like.
Yeah.
Because you got all the stuff that's going on at your house. But I do like having clients come in sometimes, not all the time, but sometimes, especially at the end of a project, if it's an album, it's nice to have a client come in, listen to it in the room so they can hear it. They're always like really excited to hear it through the big speakers and, you know, make any comments about like spacing between songs and stuff. So I like
it's cheating in here for you. Like I would never come listen to my masters in here. It sounds like it's going Marvel or something.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? What you thinking?
I am very different in some ways. So as far as what you just said, which is I would prefer it if my clients never come to us. Never. I love my clients, though. And sometimes that process is fun and it is productive when it's a Beyoncé or a Pharrell, somebody, even 3000, Andre 3000, somebody who's dialed in to knowing what they want and sometimes they don't know how to find it. That's a fun process to explore with them.
Yeah.
But most of my clients are not like Beyonce and Pharrell and 3000 or even Luda gets in that category. A lot of the other clients, they want to just come in and play stuff all the time and da-da-da. For me, why I like space and why I like to be in my own world when I'm mixing is because you get a chance to go through your process without feeling external energy of like anxiety. And the analogy I always use is I tell artists all the time, the reason why I just need some space to do what I do first and then you come in, if you got to come in, because if you saw what they do to your car when you take your car to get service, you would freak out. Like, because literally, when they take your car in there, they take your doors off.
Yeah.
Because sometimes they got to get to the computer thing in their door.
Yep.
They do all kind of stuff to your car that you, even if you're just going for like a oil change or something.
Yeah.
So if you saw that process, what happens is now you get back and you get your car and you start, you know, fucking. Can I curse? I'm sorry.
Yeah.
You start fucking with your door, and you're like, oh, is the door on right? And all the things you saw them do will start mentally fucking with you.
Right.
It's the same thing with an artist. If they sit there and see when I hit the wrong auto-tune thing, and I'll know the key of the song, and sometimes we all know as musicians, a key in a minor can also relate to another key in a major. And that major, with whether it's a different inflection, may sound better on the auto-tune than the actual key the song is in based on how they're performing. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
And so sometimes we got to experiment and try these things. As a vocalist sitting in the room going, wait, why it sound like that? Wait, what is he doing? And sometimes even if they don't say anything, even if they know, even if they're disciplined enough not to react, you feel that energy. You can feel that tension of that person. Nobody used to make me more tense than Erykah Badu. Like, I'll be sitting there mixing, and I can feel her, and I'll turn around, and I could just feel her energy and she'll tell me, like, I was going crazy while you was doing that, but I didn't want to say nothing.
I mean, she says it in her records. She say, "Yo, I'm sensitive about my shit."
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
And so, like, mixing her records sometimes when she was in the room, but she was actually disciplined enough not to interrupt me. But again, just her energy. Sometimes I'll turn around, she'll just be back there like I could tell she really want to do it over. She really want to do it over. So that having that space to just be me, get to a place with the mix that I love, that's priceless to me. I love just being in my own world. I'm an introvert at heart, and I just love being in my own world.
You would never know.
I can't tell.
It's so funny. Like, a lot of people, I present as an extrovert,
Yeah.
and a lot of it is because of what the first question you brought up, because I know it's important to teach and reach and do things like this and da-da-da.
Right.
But you could kind of tell when you know me as a person.
I could tell, but I can't tell.
Yeah, you
know
can
what
tell,
I'm
but you
saying?
can't tell. When you're
Yeah.
around me, it kind of
Yeah.
looks like I present as an extrovert.
Yeah.
But I don't see me out on the Getty images.
Yeah, that's a different type of extrovert. Right? You know what
I
I'm
don't
saying?
see me
Popping
nowhere.
champagne,
I be
all
at
in the
crib.
video.
We have this thing that we say all the time. We be like, we out the way. I
Out the
stay
way.
out the way.
Out the
all
way.
the time.
Out the way. I'm gonna open up the question just a little bit because there's been times where I came to visit you to hear a mix, but I think she was your girlfriend at the time. Your wife was there
Doris.
in the studio, and she'd be studying, and she'd be kicked up on the couch, but you just steady mixing. How is that affect? Just taking it out the artist way.
And I was
just putting it in
gonna
the family.
address what you said about being home, because since COVID, I've been mixing at home.
Yep.
Before COVID, if you would have asked me that question, I would have answered like you. I'd have been like, "There's no way I can mix at home."
Right.
What I realized is, and to answer your question, the reason why Doris sitting in the studio, my wife, doing her thing, she ain't paying attention to nothing I'm doing. She don't care. She don't ask no questions.
Yep.
She is so removed from what I'm doing.
Right.
So that's a different kind of energy. And what I realized during COVID is none of my family cares about what I do. My girls don't come in. Even when I'm mixing Beyonce, Zoe at 15, she, like, when I was doing Cowboy Carter, she walked in, she goes, "Daddy, are you mixing Beyonce?" And I was like, "Yeah." And then she was like, "Oh, cool." And then
Can I get some V-Bucks?
because it's so normal for them now, and it's so funny. I was with a friend of mine on a Zoom, and she came in, and they were like, "Man, your kids like are so normalized to, like, you just be mixing Beyonce and Pharrell and
Right.
so." But to them, they don't care.
Right.
And so their energy doesn't invade that space. They're not thinking about what I'm doing,
Yep.
how that affects them.
What
They
about the
just
friends, though?
Care, huh?
Your kids' friends. What about them?
Well, they don't. I mean, with the sleepover, so I have a lot of, like, personal quirky rules. We can get into family rules, but
Yeah.
like when Zoe has her friends over sleeping over, I usually go stay in a hotel, like, because they're girls, and
That's right.
I have, like, rules about that.
I like
Like,
that. I like that.
I don't like staying in the house with a lot of girls that
Yeah,
are
yeah.
other people's kids.
I like that. I like that.
I'm quirky.
That's a great rule right there.
Yeah, 'cause
That's
when
not quirky, by the
Yeah,
way.
because what you're never
It's
gonna
not
say
quirky.
is
Yeah.
you're never gonna say Zoe's daddy saw me.
Yeah, no. Yeah, I'm good.
Ever.
Yeah,
Ever.
so it don't be a thing. But I was gonna say, so what I learned during COVID though is all of the things I put in my brain about, I can't work at home, I'll be too distracted. It's actually the opposite. I work very efficiently at home because they don't care about what I do.
Yeah.
And the studio, I told you this, in the studio, what I realized is when I'm up at the studio and working, all of us care about this so much, we can have 50 conversations about audio and kicks and da-da-da, and then I don't get no work done.
Yeah.
But at home-
The studio, I always say this, the studio is congregational.
Yeah,
Definitely.
sometimes.
You know
So
what
at
I mean?
home,
Yeah.
nobody
Yeah.
asked me about
Yeah.
kicks, and Zoe and Doris ain't coming in there talking about, hey, Daddy, the bass is a little too loud. I don't care.
OG, what you think I should do with this? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, so no, I actually like working at home because that energy doesn't bother me, and it actually feeds me. I like when they pop in every now and then, give me a little ear break.
Yeah.
It helps me calibrate my ears too, because if Zoe come in, interrupt me to ask me some teenage question, then I can lock into what she's saying, and then I go back, and it now sounds a little fresh. It's
Right.
like a little refresher.
This is just a funny thing before we get to your answer. When you're doing Cardi B in the house, right, and the kids are home, how low do you turn it down? Or do you go in the headphones?
So here's the thing about that. So, funny story. I'm sorry to take up so much time, but I'm gonna shut up for a minute. But so funny story. when COVID started, the very first record that Craig Kalman hit me to mix was WAP. So I don't have access to a studio because we couldn't go out nowhere.
Yeah.
Remember the first week of COVID? Nobody could go nowhere.
Yeah.
So I'm in my house, and I'm like, there is no way I can mix this record in the crib because my kids are home, too.
Right.
So then I said, well, we always listen to records in the car.
Okay. So if you're gonna go there, we got to stop because I got to come back to that.
Okay, we'll come back.
We'll come back. Just remember that.
Yeah.
Keep it
I'll
on
come
your
back
brain.
to that.
All right, let's get your answers because
How do you
bring
follow all that? But I guess something you think about studio spaces is, as a mixer, it's very technical. Of course, I like my space because it's designed just for me and it allows me to be creative.
Yeah.
But I love spaces in general, studios, where people create. You can create anywhere now.
That's right.
So often, what I like to do is meet people in their space
Yeah.
and see what energy brought them in. Like coming in here,
I like that.
What a treat to see how Colin, hits that final touch. And as soon as you walk in and you see everything and you hear the room, you're like, yeah, I understand Colin's process a little bit. Cool, let me see what that does for me. Same thing with creatives when they're producing or artists where they wrote the song. I'll be like, hey, let me come by your studio. And I'm not going to mix there, but I can just get their energy, bottle it up, take it back to the lab, and I can kind of try and put it into the record unencumbered because
Right.
I don't want anybody in my space either. I'm like Leslie. When it's time to work, it's time to work with my formula. But I love spaces. Loving studios has been something I've always been like so excited by. Working in great rooms all across the country and like the history in a room. You feel like the energy
agree
just
with that.
sticks in a wall. Like, if you ever work at Westlake and, that's where like
Yes.
Michael did all this stuff. They still have the speaper
Yeah.
in the ceiling because Michael used to lay on the floor playing something through that. You got to slide and lay down and pretend like you were Mike. It's crazy. And if you don't feel that and feel the creativity, you're definitely in the wrong industry.
No question.
So, I would want to meet somebody in their space, kind of like bottle that up, but my space is for me to work.
I like that.
No question.
Yeah. At heart, I'm a bedroom producer, right?
We talked about
That's
this.
great,
yeah.
though. That's,
yeah. So it's like
I'm not trying to come to Rook's bedroom.
I'm sure he would.
That would be weird.
Yeah. So I'm a bedroom producer. So a lot of us are, no matter how big you are. Yeah. But I do like creating in the studio. The only thing I don't like is when people have. I don't mind creating with the artist. That's cool. But when they have extra people there,
Yeah, I don't like that either.
you know what I'm saying? Like just
I don't like that.
people just smoking and this and that, talking, and I'm like.
Yeah, I don't like that.
You know what I'm saying? Like that's the only thing I don't like, but I don't mind doing the studio thing and making beats like on the fly. I'm surprised a lot of producers now don't make beats in front of artists.
Right.
Like they can't.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's weird to me.
Yeah. It's the pressure of it. Yeah. it's the
Yeah.
pressure of it.
Yeah. I guess I came up in a rough era, I guess.
Yeah.
We both did.
Yeah.
You gotta
for
get
sure.
used to that. That's how I was mastering too. People right behind you all the time.
Yeah.
That's how it started with me. Every session,
Yeah.
people in the studio.
Yeah.
Makes you move differently.
Yeah. When Leslie was mixing our records, we was right behind him. And,
Jeezy walking around
Yeah.
pacing.
It's a luxury now to get to do it by yourself.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah,
It's definitely a
is.
luxury. I mean, shit, I came from the DJ world, so
Yeah.
man, I was on pressure every 5 minutes. So it's nothing to being an artist, you know what I mean? In the studio, I'm like, this is nothing. I was just out there with 1,000 people telling me the record was bad. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? So that ain't bad.
Right.
I want to jump back and go into your question. This is something that I've never seen online or rarely see online. And the car test and how important it is. And we'll start there because you were getting ready to go into this.
Yeah.
And I witnessed this myself with the car test. Now,
Yeah.
he had a double car test, by
Yeah.
the way. So go ahead into the story.
So from the car test theory of knowing, okay, we always go in the cars, we listen to stuff in the cars, we judge stuff in the cars. Again, beginning of COVID, I got to mix WAP. Girls are home, everybody's home. I'm like, you know what? I should try mixing this in the car. So then I was like, I could fit the focals in there because I got a Cadillac Escalade. I got the ESV, so I fold down the captain's chairs, put a couple cushions, put the focals on that, and I sat in the third row. And then I was like, ooh, I could bring the sub in here. And I called Canon because my sub is too big. At the time, I had a big KRK sub. So I called Canon. I was like, hey, man, you mind if I take the 10-inch sub from the studio? Because I really want to try to fit it in my car. And he was like, what? And I was like, rock with me. So I went and got the 10-inch sub, put it in right between the captain's chairs. And so I got my setup. I got the focals, a sub. I'm running power from the house. Of course, I backed the car out the garage a little so I can start the car and just have air conditioning there. And I was like, yo, it sounds good in here. Like, because cars by nature are designed with sound in mind, where all the surfaces the windows are curved, or the
Right.
windshield is slanted. So sound isn't bouncing around in a car. And then there's like carpeted ceilings, and everything it sounded tight and good. It was very tight. Yeah. It was a little too non-reflective, but it was still good. And so what I realized is, I could make this work. And now the girls don't hear all this bucket and the mop and all the stuff she talking about. I'm in my own little world. So for the first few weeks of COVID, that was my office. My car was my spot. And I knocked the record out, sent it to Colin. And WAP was actually, I felt this way, and I think you told me you felt this way too. WAP was one of the better mixes. Like the low end was dialed in right.
Yeah, it sounded really good.
Yeah, and it was produced well too. So I don't always want to. Whenever I have a really good mix, I always say that about Aston Martin music. Yeah. Whenever I have a mix that I love that I did, a lot of it is credited to the producer, to the production, to the choice of kicks, sounds, basses, how the sounds work with each other. But yeah, so I mixed in the car, and it was like that became how I mixed during COVID until the girls started going back to school. Now I can mix at home. To answer your original question, now I can mix at home. And if I got Cardi B to mix, like literally I'm starting mixing Cardi B right now. They just sent the record last night, and it ain't the cleanest record, but the girls are going to school. So I'm going to get the chunk of that work. Anything I got to do loud in the speakers while they're in school.
Right.
By the time they get home, I can do edits in the headphones, or I can turn it down to where they're not really hearing it, that kind of thing.
So it's safe to say now that you pretty much don't get into the car test no more. Do you take a record and just run out to the car and listen to it again?
I do it every now and then. And Gen Now. Even if I mix in the small room at Gen Now, I'm good. Okay. Because I know those rooms. I know what I'm getting. Pretty much any other room. Like even when we went to London, when we were mixing Everything Is Love, Beyonce and Jay-Z's album, Colin was here in Atlanta because Beyonce was trying to fly him out. We was like, she was like, can we fly Colin out? We was like,
just bring his room with him.
Yeah.
It's already a box.
I was like, Colin needs his room. Like, mastering is a different animal. But while we were there in Metropolis Studios, what I asked for, the one request I had, I asked Teresa at the time, I said, do y'all mind if we rent an Escalade? And I know that sounds exotic, and it's not because I'm trying to be a baller. I'm just used to that system.
Yep.
And if I can reference her mixes in that Escalade, I'll be good. And they rented me an Escalade.
That's
funny, incredible. That's an incredible story.
It's probably hard to find in London.
Yeah, it was.
It probably was hard. It was hard to find.
Very hard to find, yes.
Yeah.
But Marielle called me back, and she was like, no, we found one. And I was like, okay, just for a couple of days. I don't need it the whole time. She was like, no, you can have it the whole time. But it was very convenient to be able to pop in the Escalade, listen to the mixes, make sure I was good. And then, surprisingly, I was so good, I never really used it. Much of the rest of the time. I didn't even drive it. I literally left it parked at the studio. It was at the studio the whole time.
That's crazy. I'm a little bit more meticulous because I have, in production profile. If I make some beats, I'll go listen to them in the car, and if it's one little thing wrong, I'll rebounce the beat, and it's like, bro, they're not gonna hear that. So I go back and forth in my head like it's just you're not even mixing. It's just the snare was too loud.
But when I was working with Justice League, one of the ways our relationship developed, I remember early on, I could tell. They were very particular. Like, y'all were very meticulous about sound. And they used to always apologize. They always used to be like, man, we sorry, bro, but I was like, man, stop apologizing. This is part of the process. And I actually loved working with them because of that, because they would have such a robust soundtrack type of joint. It would, Aston Martin music and all the joint. And I would just be like, so they would always be apologizing, like, they'll come in as a group and be like, Leslie, we sorry, man. We just got one more thing we want to. I'm like, nah. So they were very picky, but I loved it. I loved how the end result.
Yeah, I learned laziness from them, and I'm gonna tell you why, because they had all these 96 tracks.
Yeah, I was about to say
on the board, and it's like I'm not about to do all that. I'm not about to get these strings and these choirs and all. What am I doing? Let's find something real advantageous and just go. Like, I'm not about to do that because I know how I hear a string wrong. It's like, oh man, the fourth lady on the string is wrong. You know what I'm saying? So I got it from them. Like, man, I'm not going through that.
Yeah, he was showing up with tubas and whatnot.
You see what I'm saying?
It's a keyboard for that. Like,
I said, listen, I'll just call them. Fuck it. I don't even want to go through that. In the car space, like you got with the Escalade, I got addicted to the sound system in a Porsche. It doesn't matter what Porsche it is. I just got stuck, bro. If I can get it to sound good in there, I was happy, bro. Multiple cars, and it's just like, bro, give me a Porsche. I need to get
Porsche
next to it.
sounds good.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
The sound is out. Even if it's like sometimes people swapped out like Bose. I tried to swap out my Bose system for Focal. They got Focal car systems. I tried to do anything. I was like, just leave it
Nah, it
alone.
got to be, because it's about that feeling that you got listening to the records you love. Like,
There
you
you
know
go.
this, Ludacris, to this day, he still listens to stuff in that Acura.
Yeah, Acura,
Whenever
yeah.
we get in mix mode,
Yeah.
he'll start pulling up to the studio on the Acura. Still, to this day, that gold Acura that he got, and he'll go out there and listen to the mixes in that car. To this day, he still does it.
The poor man's version of your story was in 2010. Whenever I'd fly to LA and work out there, the label would always rent you a PT Cruiser. When those were like the jam, and always a PT Cruiser. So I listened to so many records in a PT Cruiser. I was like,
That
am
car
I
was
gonna have to
never
buy
the
one of
jam.
those? And then I was like, no. I was
Yeah,
like,
I'm
these
about to
records
say,
can sound
Always
horrible.
the
I'm not
mid-size
getting a
car,
PT
bro.
Cruiser.
Always.
PT Cruiser.
I hated
wow.
that because I'm like, man, they flew me out for a session and they was like, yeah, you got a mid-size. I said, bro, I'm 6'7".
Yeah.
What is that gonna? What's gonna happen?
You
bro?
got to stretch out.
Like, yeah. So your favorite car is a 2-part question. Your favorite car, and do you still car test?
I do. I mean, I don't have necessarily a favorite car. I think the car that I drive is the Range most of the time, and I listen a lot of times, like off my phone. I stream it off Allegro, but I've been in this room for 13 years, so like I don't really need to do that, but it's nice to do that, once in a while.
Yeah, this system will make you not want to listen to it anywhere. If you
Right.
get it right here, I mean,
Yeah.
I can't.
Yeah, if you get it right in an accurate space,
Yeah.
it'll translate to most car systems.
Yeah.
Sometimes when we're doing production, that's different because you're picking sounds from scratch, hasn't been mixed yet. Like more stuff can slip by that way. And I think that's when a car test becomes like more important.
Yeah.
Is when you're kind of more at the beginning of the process, and it can point out some stuff when the sounds are a little raw. Like if you got something that's too dynamic or the kick's too boomy or whatever, it feels cool in the studio at the time,
Yeah.
but sometimes you get in the car and you're like, oh shit.
You got to check it. Yeah.
That's loud.
And I'm gonna give it the question here, but I'm gonna switch it up a little bit. All the young artists that I work with, it could be Playboy Cardi, Uzi, Lil Tyler, anybody that's coming up. The car test has switched into the iPhone speaker test.
Or headphones.
It's like, or headphones. It's like when I send a mix to them and I'm standing in front of them from Leslie or the master, they press play and listen to it face value on the phone. It kills me.
Yeah.
It kills me. And I love Apple, but Apple's a technology company. It's not a music company.
Facts.
To me,
Yeah.
my
To
opinion.
everybody.
And when I see them listen to it and they tell me something's wrong, I was like, it's no possible way you can hear this is wrong. There's
That's
no
how
way.
they hear it. Yeah.
How you feel about that? I don't know if you've had people do the Apple phone test. or,
Yeah,
you know?
yeah. I mean, but what I do before them. So I just stream it from my DAW straight to the iPhone.
Okay.
Yeah, so and then I'll just sit the iPhone there and I'll just mix on the iPhone.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
He
Just-
beat the game.
Just a quick.
You got to the last level.
I'll do my mix, but then I'll do like I put it there and if something sounds weird, then okay, let me just
That's wild.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The wave stream that we were talking about earlier is very good for that because it just pulls right up and you can just mute your speakers and just listen
That's
to it. from there.
crazy.
Man, that's
Yeah.
interesting. That's like the oratones. You know
Yeah,
what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
that's right.
You
That's
gotta
exactly
hack it.
right.
You know what I'm saying?
You got to
Just that
find a way
one.
to hack it to meet them where they're at because the thing is, that's where they're at.
I'm gonna put that in my
It's
back.
YouTube. Well,
I need to do that.
it's like if someone tells you about a new artist, what's the first place you go to? Do you go to Apple Music or do you go to YouTube to look at them?
It's hard for me now because I'm a Spotify person. Tidal sometimes just
Tidal
because I'm
always.
Tidal.
Yeah,
Tidal always.
Tidal
Spotify's
because
the worst.
I'm
Yeah.
just I'm
just
the ear
snouts
candy guy.
Yeah.
Well.
But it depends now because the visual brings out an idea from the young folks that I can't get at first now. So I first
interesting.
go
Okay.
to YouTube now. I can't listen to a song and tell
It just sounds
what
so
you're
bad.
doing because
YouTube
everybody,
sounds
almost everybody, I'm not gonna say everybody, are in the same direction musically these days. And if I don't see it, the video where somebody's laying on the flatbed and the head's almost hitting the truck, it's like, I'm buying into the idea. So I rarely just listen to it on Apple Music when they
But that's the
go
music
out.
executive thought.
That is.
As
Yeah,
a
that
as a
is.
fan,
That
if you
is.
go just fans talking
Straight
to
to
other
Apple
fans,
Music.
what you're like, hey, have you seen this new artist? They go to YouTube,
Yeah.
and I mean like everybody's checking out YouTube on a phone or a laptop.
Yeah.
There's nobody's phone or laptop or YouTube is hooked up to a home system, and that might be how they listen to music.
Yep.
But they're gonna check the YouTube first.
Yeah, my
right.
kids.
So
I
YouTube
mean,
has to be
my
snapping.
kids are 15 and 13. They consume their music through YouTube.
Exactly.
TikTok
And-
or YouTube. And
And
that's it.
in general, YouTube isn't connected to a home audio system
No.
that's quality. So like
Yeah.
They're
listening
wearing
on a
headphones a lot,
phone,
though?
headphones
They
are
do.
important. I
Yeah.
think headphones are the new.
My 15-year-old
you know,
wears earbuds. My
car test.
13-year-old, my 12-year-old, she listens on her phone speakers. She listens out loud.
Yeah.
We always constantly have to get on her. Like, don't everybody don't want to hear what you're listening to. Like,
I mean, I
use
think
headphones.
you could give a good case of being like listening to that on good speakers is what paid for that iPhone. So like, show some respect to Dad's craft.
get some-
You know?
But what it really speaks to, though, is something that we're all familiar with, and I think why it's hard for us to relate to the actual medium, but what we're all familiar with is the concept of whatever your ear is calibrated to.
Yep.
sure.
And their ears are calibrated to that phone. And it's funny, I talk about her a lot because we share this client in common, Beyonce. I have never seen her reference or listen to a mix anywhere other than on her laptop. That is the only place she reference mixes.
Yeah.
Every time she listens to mixes that I've been in her presence, she always listens.
Yeah,
on
it's
her
the new
laptop.
clock radio.
Yeah,
That's
she
why I
be
tell
in-
people
she
we
be
seen
in
this
the
on clock radio.
elaborate
Yeah.
studios, and she will pull out the laptop,
Yeah.
and that's how she judges the mixes. She doesn't listen on speakers.
I do feel like that's a big difference from a phone. And
It is
I think-
because those are a little more robust. You're right.
And the phone is like
the phone is
the
wild.
left and right is a different speaker.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you're dealing with that. They're
Yes.
not even the same speaker from the
1000%.
left to the right.
Yeah, the
You
phone
go
is
like this,
wild.
it
Yeah,
changes.
yeah,
Yeah.
because
Oh, yeah, the
The phone
spatial.
hearing their comments from listening to a phone is wild. Like,
yeah,
Yeah.
and
the
we're,
YN generation.
we're ending up with like records that I think are maybe too bright, or a
I
lot,
agree.
or
Yeah.
a lot too bright.
I agree.
because it's getting referenced on a single driver speaker with
I agree.
no tweeter.
Yeah.
So it's not like a real world situation.
Yeah.
So I think referencing it on a real speaker or whatever, and then making sure that it sounds cool on a phone is fine. But even the iPhones, from phone to phone, they change.
Yeah.
Almost
Right, yeah.
every series,
Generation.
the
Of course,
yeah.
sound of the phone
Yeah.
changes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we're just changing all the music for the phone.
Right.
And I
that
think
you- that you have.
I think an important conversation to have within that too is, I know I do this, and I'm almost positive some of y'all do it, if not all of y'all. I base my level of how I make adjustments and changes based on what I know that person's understanding to be. So, for instance,
Yeah.
if it's Canon, if Canon calls me and go, hey, Les, there's something about the high end and the kick, or Pharrell, or somebody who I know hears those things, I'm changing those things. But if a YN called me and hit me with the, nah, see, it got to be, okay.
Yeah.
You're just excited. You don't really even know how to articulate. I get it. So sometimes, and I'm not saying I don't
not
take what
turned
they
up.
say. Yeah, I don't take. I'm not saying I don't take what they say into consideration. I'm saying I have a bigger, deeper level of, okay, if Canon called me, I'm getting in the toolbox.
Yeah.
If they call me, I'm just like, all right, cool. And I may make a slight adjustment and send it back, and then they're good. And then I'm like, okay,
Psychology.
you just wanted to be a part of it, or you just, whatever.
Yeah, that brings me to my next point, psychology in this. Most of the time, the new artists don't even care about what it sounds like. Mm-hmm. I don't know if you guys work
Absolutely.
with those guys.
Yeah.
But some of these guys is like, I don't care. I'll put it out just like this. Does that disrupt your attitude towards your work craft, or you're just fighting, again, for legacy in your own mind? And no matter what, it's supposed to sound good. Because there's some times where it's like, hey, put it out. It sounds good. I trained Ben Thomas, and he was Uzi's engineer for some time. And his first real mixing song was Just Wanna Rock with Uzi. And he prepped it and gave it to me. And I was sitting on the couch, and I was like, what are you giving this to me for?
Yeah.
He was like, you're going to get it mixed, right? I was like, no, you're going to mix it. And he was like, what? I was like, you were in there 24/7, 36 hours, for not sleeping. You know what this is. Not that it was an easy record. I just felt like you're there.
He already had it
You can
dialed
do
in.
this. It was
Yeah.
dialed in. And I feel like because that record was already dialed in before the mix was there, we knew what the kids were going to enjoy.
Sure.
Are we in that space where we're dialing back some because we know they're not going to hear certain things, or you still go to the highest peak of your craft to work on things?
I think that depends on the relationship you have with the producer and the artist.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like sometimes it's not worth the fight.
Gotcha.
You know, if they're like,
Yes.
I'm telling you, the Rough is the greatest thing ever, and I had to send it to mix because the label's saying so. I'm like, okay, we'll do everything we can, and at that point, I might be a file librarian, just delivering parts, making sure everything is organized, and giving them back what they want. And, you know, to your question about legacy, does it hurt my heart a little bit that I know I could have cleaned up that sound, made it smoother, made it punchier, made it something that I would have enjoyed more? Yeah, but I'm also a professional, and, you know, like, they came to me for a job, and I'm going to do that, you know. I'm not the creative in that. I'm more of a worker bee, and I'm fine to do that occasionally. But if it's a piece of music I feel confident about, I will talk to that producer, I will talk to that artist and be like, listen, there's more here. You have a gem inside of this. You got to let me expose it. I think it was Michelangelo said he sees a piece of marble, and he doesn't stop carving until the angel comes out. And sometimes when that's there, you want to give them that, and you tell them, like, you got to let me do my thing. And if they see the same vision as you, that's when you get your best work.
And I think it's important to communicate to them that it's not about your ego at that point. It's about you really serving the craft, serving the record, serving the best that this thing could be. So those conversations a lot of times come out of that. And I find a lot of times with the compromise is usually, we had this with Uzi. When you first brought Uzi to me when we was doing like the Money Longer records, Uzi was so stuck on how his vocal sounded. He wanted specific reverbs, So me and Cannon was like, cool, we'll let him have that, but we're going to go hard on these tracks.
Yeah, sure.
We're going to make sure this it bangs. We're going to make sure it hits. So that now, to this day, I can't tell you how many people be like, man, XO Tour Life, that mix sounds so good. Right? Because Uzi, his vocals sound like how he like them. And I would have did something different with them vocals, but we left them alone so that he could be cool. Because that's what he was on. He was on, man, I just want my reverbs just like I like them. Okay, cool. But I'm going to go hard on this track, though.
Yeah, sure.
So sometimes there's a little bit of room to compromise.
Yeah, we talked about this in the last episode, and I tried to say that we were the first person to get him a diamond record with XO Tour Life. But I also said that record had 4 different mixers. Keisha did the original mix. I did one because he was just stuck on me like, no, nobody touch me. No, that's my mix. You do it. You're there. Nobody. You know what I'm saying? I had to sneak it like, okay, yo, Leslie, do this. He saw you, because I had to bring him in the studio. I think, what was the studio?
I was on Icon.
Okay,
yeah,
Icon.
You brought him over there.
And I think that we were doing Sauce It Up, Money Longer, all those joints, and he wanted to see the process. He was scared, like, why are you going to see this man about my records? So he went with me, and once he moved in, he felt the energy, like, oh, and then he just got a chance to sit in the captain's chair, and it was dialed in. It was like, oh, okay.
You know what's funny?
Being somebody in their
space. You know what's so funny?
Get that
and this is obviously, you know my heart, so this ain't a knock to you. So what's Uzi's or you, Colin? What he said was, when I first met him, I thought you was white.
He did. He said that to me. He did
That's the first words he ever said to me when I first met him. Was that day you brought him over there, and he got out the car and he goes, "What's up, man?" And then we walked, and then we had to get out the car and walk to the little door in the back of Icon,
right.
and I'm putting the code in, and I open the door. Cannon walks in, and he walks up. He goes, "I thought you was white." And I was like, okay. So, and to be honest, that's a thing sometimes where if they don't feel like they're connecting to you culturally, they feel like, oh, well, maybe Cannon sending my joint to somebody who ain't connected to me culturally.
Yeah,
he had all of that in his head.
Yeah.
And so I think all of that, when he saw me, he was like, because my name, Leslie
after he heard
Brathwaite,
it, he didn't even want to
very
stay.
white.
Some people want to stick around and just talk, and he didn't want to
He knew
stay.
he was in
After he's
good
like,
hands.
oh, I'm comfortable.
Yeah.
He's like, and that brings me to my next thing is philosophies, and I'm going to kick it to you, but it starts off with his philosophy. One of the things that I learned from Leslie was get out the way of the music. Even though in my humble state, I never was the one to get in the way of the music. How important is that to stay out the way of the music and not argue with somebody that thinks that master didn't hit like they wanted to, or get in a space where they just want to argue about going back and forth. And then your pet peeve on getting mix 26 and going back to the 13th
Yeah.
mix or the third.
I mean, I'll recall it all day. I don't care because I just charge every time. I mean,
You worse
it
than the
doesn't-
contract. Change order.
Yep.
Change order.
Oh, Colin be going crazy.
I mean, but I don't care about new mixes coming in really. Usually a lot of those changes are super small and nobody's noticing those mix changes anyway. It's usually like, maybe the artist or the mixer is changing like little tiny things about the vocals. As far as changing the song, I think that's part of being a great mastering engineer
Yep.
is knowing your boundaries.
Yep.
Right? Like, it depends what genre it is. It depends what kind of mix it is.
Yeah.
It depends how loud the mix is that I got
Yep.
and how already overcooked it might be or how dynamic it might be. But knowing those boundaries that you have, I think it's important to listen to the vibe and the energy of the song in the mix and then enhance that. Like, that's my goal on every song.
Yep.
So if it's got a huge bottom end, I want to make that bottom end as powerful or more powerful or sound more powerful and maybe have less dynamic energy in the track.
Right.
But you're not going to notice that. Like, I want it to hit like it hits in the mix or bigger. Sometimes I do this once in a while when I know that they want a certain thing. I'll give them that and I'll do that version. I'll be like, but I really think that we should do this.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I give them two things. And I give them one thing and I'm like, I know you want this. I did this with Dave Pensato once on one of the first things he sent. I was like, I know you want it like your mix. Here's that. But I think we should do this, and gave him a super creative version that I did some crazy shit to. And he like loved it and never went to anybody else after that.
That's what creates your legacy, man.
Yeah.
You go the extra mile.
Yeah,
I like that.
I think giving those options is really important. If you're gonna do something like creative, give them both options.
Yeah. And it's about being connected to the work too and understanding when to stay out the way.
Yep.
And so, for instance, I say famously all the time, I get rough mixes that sound crazy sometimes, but I always lock into why they love it.
Yeah.
And sometimes it be this element, like I always say, there are times when I get rough mixes and the hi-hat be dumb loud, and they love this rough mix so much.
Sounds
and
good
I
on that
know,
phone.
yeah, there you go. But I know that hi-hat is driving them in a way that if you try to turn it down, it just ain't gonna feel the same. And then I gotta think back to me and what I loved. And I remember when I was a kid, and I used to love all those Curtis Mantronic remixes.
Yep.
Mantronic used to have them hi-hats ringing.
Super loud.
Remember when they used to do them like
Yeah.
the No Sarah records or the those
Super
Joyce
loud.
Sims and all those summertime records? Them hi-hats was dumb loud.
Yeah.
And I think back to that and I go, yeah, these were kind of insane and they felt good.
Right.
So I got to yield to like staying out of the way of this thing that they love. Same thing I said with Uzi.
Yeah.
What he loved about his vocals, I hated. I hated his reverbs and the way he had certain things, but I stayed out the way.
Yeah.
And, Diamond single later, say sometimes you got to know how to stay out the way.
Right. Kick it to M-Dub. I want to know I'm pulling my hair out. What is your pet peeve when you're getting something to get ready to mix?
Yeah, that's right.
He pulled all his hair out. That's what I'm
Had a
asking.
successful career. Talking about those elements in the rough that maybe you want to keep, like any kind of production choice like that, that's unusual, hi-hats too loud, I can get behind any of that. Vocals that are distorted because they were just recorded poorly or have bad gain staging,
Yeah.
that's never something I'm like, I know you were going for that.
Yeah.
That's just poor engineering. And that's
Yeah.
no disrespect to somebody that maybe just didn't have the right tools or didn't have the understanding. But if I can correct that, I'm going to correct that every time.
Yeah.
And then you're like, yeah, the vocals don't sound the same. I'm like, I know. But that's when you have to sometimes do like a teaching moment of like, I can give you what you want or I can give you what you need.
Right.
And trust me, you need this to sound right vocally because it wasn't part of your vibe to have your vocal muffled, and that wasn't part of the vibe. Put the clean vocal out, this is what you need. And making somebody understand that, if they're a new artist, can be a hair pull out moment.
You just described every single conversation I have with Cardi B.
But, you know,
I can give you what you want,
Yeah.
or I can give you what you need.
right. And it's
That's the basis of all of our
and I don't
conversations.
want an artist to think like I know their trajectory better than they do, but I just know the trajectory of successful records
Yeah,
more than they do because I've just put out more records than you have.
Stay here. I wanted to say, so what do? There's a distorted vocal coming. Do you say, fuck it, record this over because it's too bad? Or how do you fix it? There's not enough plugins in the world for me that I can fix a distorted vocal, a distorted drum sound, a distorted 808, any of that stuff. Like, what do you do? You're at the crossroad.
Yeah, you got to look at the magic counter. If the performance is truly magic,
Yeah.
you know saying re-record that is not the one.
1,000%.
You know, Rick Ross on a couple of his, I mean, Vernon recorded it. It was the Neve was breaking up, and it was like a big hit for him. It's distorted, but I mean, it was a
Magic.
Ross classic. You know what I mean? So, like, it happens.
Yeah.
And, you know, I've done that with some vocals that I recorded with Katy Perry Firework. You know,
Yeah.
she didn't want to sing that day because she had been doing the Smurfette voice. And she was just like, oh, I've been doing this like crazy Smurf voice. She's like, my vocals toast. And she was just like, well, let me just lay down a demo. And Firework,
Yeah.
Record of the Year, Grammy-winning. That's the
This
demo.
is
That's the
stuntastic, by the
demo,
way. He says
by the
Katy
way.
Perry.
Yeah,
we were
yeah,
just casually talking about how he's recording Fireworks.
But she put it down, and she was just like, yeah, you know, I'm glad we got the idea down. Tomorrow I'll come back and re-sing it. And Mikkel and I were in the room, and we were like, that one. But next day, you know, it's important to engage her in her process. We don't
Yeah.
want to pull her hair out. We don't want to be like, no, we're done. We've got the vocal. So we let her sing, and she sang for half a day, and it was good. I mean, she's talented. But then we were like, hey, can we do some edits? Give us 5 minutes. And we just like pulled up the vocal from yesterday and let her listen to it again, and she was like, that's really good. I was like, that's yesterday. Like sometimes they don't always know
magic.
when the magic button is in there.
Yeah.
Now, her vocal wasn't distorted or anything like that, but it was more like she wasn't confident.
Yeah.
But, you know, sometimes if you can sense the magic,
Yeah, you gotta kinda
push
make
the
that-
magic to the front.
Yeah.
And just like let that be what it is.
Well, that's a good point because I compare rock and rap to the same thing. When you're dealing with singers, the reference is almost there to match every time. Rap, you cannot do that. You
Right.
cannot capture how I was feeling at 11 o'clock in the morning
sure.
after not sleeping the whole night.
Right.
Versus a rock star is not going to be able to do a comp on, you know, Teen Spirit. You just can't, you know,
Yeah.
you just can't comp that. And you know, something like Beyonce or something, you can hear her run and be like, okay, I know how to do it. I can do it. It may not have the same feeling, but I could get it close, and then you could stack and stack and stack. Rap is not like that. You get Jeezy to cut another record, it's over with.
Yeah,
Sure.
What it was and what it was, and you got to figure out the crossword puzzle to make it all stick together. And that's why I'm just like, what do we do with Distortion? I'm just
And sometimes you can fish through distortion based on the content.
yeah,
Lil Wayne on the Canon record, he
Yep.
was distorted.
1,000%.
But you don't. It doesn't bother you enough because his voice is raspy.
Yep.
So now I
right.
play off of that when I was mixing that and kind of
Yep.
dialed in a bit. But he was distorted on that record.
1,000%.
lean into
Drake
it
was
more.
distorted on Churchill Downs.
He was.
You know,
He made that.
I can go on and on.
I still listen to that acapella. And
it,
be
it
like,
still gets on my nerves.
Yeah, but
I
it
think
does good.
We did enough justice to it to where the song shined.
Yeah.
You know, and then you got Drake distorted, and you got Jack clean ass
Clean.
vocals, and I'm just like, you know, so
That's-
I actually had to bring Jack a little
Sure.
way to meet Drake,
Right.
Because we wasn't gonna get no more Drake vocals, and they were on they sent the MP3 of his.
Yeah.
Full quality
It was
MP3?
comp-
How
it was
nice
comp.
is
Full
that?
quality.
Was it like on a phone or something?
I don't know. It might have been. It
So
was
what I
just-
know, it was recorded in Turks and Caicos.
I do know
they
that. I
rented out
remember
a
that.
house, and I think Drake was recording in an untreated space of the
When they
house.
sent me
It might
that,
have
I
been.
was like-
It might have been in the foyer. And, you know, you probably had a
Echoey,
25,000 square foot house.
I was so mad.
And it was like, I'm just going to record. And he's a vibe person. So I'm never going to tell him, yo, we should go in a treated room.
Sometimes,
You know what I'm
That's
saying?
right.
sometimes when I'm mastering those records with features, I master them in pieces.
Yeah.
That's dope. That's dope.
I did
That's
it just
good.
did it just the other day for Quavo Little Baby record that came out, Legends.
That's a good point because I get a
Because they
lot
sounded
of.
so different, even mixed, that I was like, "This isn't. We
you
gotta
gotta
change
that's interesting.
Quavo. Why is he so low? You know." So I changed the EQ halfway through.
That's
the
what I
song.
wanted to talk on because there's records again. Just take G Herbo for instance, right? And he's recording on a 87, and then he does that in Chicago at the studio. Then he goes to a whole nother studio and does a 103, or you know what I'm saying. Now you're stuck with why are these two takes different, tremendously different? The vibe is different, and he's like, I'm not changing it. But now you got two different type of verses. You know what I mean? You got the DMX, and then you got Jay-Z. So you're just trying to figure out the balance. What do you do?
Gotta figure it out. You gotta find a way. And what I like about working with teams, and even though me and Miles don't necessarily work as a team, I know I can hit I joke all the time that Miles is tech support. He's
That's saved in his phone. Yeah, it's tech support.
Tech support. So I literally could call Miles and be like, bro, I'm having a problem with this mix. Listen to this and tell me what's up. Or you'll hit me and be like, hey, put your ears on this mix. It'd be a mix that somebody else did, but he just wants my opinion on where we need to go with it. Yeah. And we do it all the time, like even when we're working with Beyonce. I remember when Stewart was doing that Ya record on Cowboy Carter, she recorded all the vocals on a phone. And so Stewart was calling me nonstop, like, bro, let me send you another one. What do you think? Okay, bro, let me send you another one because now she changed to so-and-so. And so we're all putting our brains together, too. So I think to answer your question, part of that process is not always thinking you got to have the answer, relying on your peers saying, hey, man, how you feel about this? Am I tripping? Does this sound crazy? Yeah. Da-da-da. Because, that helps, too. When you can get out of your own way and trust that everybody else's opinion is kind of solid too.
When you know the whole story of it was on one mic and then one mic and whatever, but if you play it to somebody else and they're like, sounds fine, you got to get out of your own head and be like, maybe no one else will notice.
Yeah, Corey did that to me. Corey was mixing some Gucci Mane stuff one time, and I never seen Corey like really fight with mixes, and he called me. He was like, Les, this ain't sounding right to me, man. I don't know what it is, da-da-da-da. He sent it. I was like, bro, this is banging. Like, what are you talking about? I was like, print it, send it. And Gucci was fine with it. It came out. It was good. But sometimes you get in your own head because it's the same syndrome I'm talking about, though, where if I know she recorded it on a phone, now I'm psyching myself out. It's no different from if I see them take my doors off when they service
Something's
my car.
wrong with the door.
Now I get in the car and I'm like, is the door good?
Right.
It's the same. You do. It's the same psychological trick you play on yourself sometimes.
Right. We got 4 producers and a DJ engineer. I'll give you a little production. I'll give you a little production.
Vocal production, maybe.
Production question, and I'm kicking it to you because you're in a group, you're a collective. When we're getting mixes back, and I know I've had this, especially early in my career, my first thing when I got a mix was to point out what was wrong. I hadn't heard it. And I'm like, something's wrong with it. I haven't even heard it. It's a psych. I grew out of it. How does that work with you and counterparts? Like you're listening to a mix, but Coley's like, there's something wrong with that. You're like, no. And then y'all go back and forth. How do you get over those
usually,
pieces?
with us, it's easy. We just turn this up. Okay, cool.
Together.
Yeah.
No arguments.
Nah, we don't. It's just like, okay, I think we should do this. Cool.
And he's like, cool.
And then it's back and
That's
forth.
literally how their process goes.
That's interesting, bro.
Yeah, we don't really
unique.
That's interesting.
And you guys commit pretty much instantly when you make the decision. They're like, that's cool, and that's
I was
it.
going to say
go
the
back.
other thing I've noticed about you guys' formula is you know what you want. When I work with y'all know what you want.
Yeah.
So when I don't hit the target, y'all come in and go, hey, let's just turn this up right here. Let's turn that up right there. Da-da-da. And then I play it back, and you'll say the exact same word. You'll be like, cool.
Yeah.
And I'll be like, all right. So knowing what you want, I think, helps you get to that destination.
Yeah, for sure. I think, as long as you have that vision, and you got to have people you trust, too.
That's
right.
right.
You know what I mean? Like, I know we can send a mix to Leslie, and
it'll be small changes.
Yeah.
It ain't going to be no whole bunch of going back and forth.
Fucking nails it. Like, he's mixed every Maybach music, and, man, I think the only one that we were there for is probably the first one. With
I remember. Yeah.
We were waiting on his vocals.
Yeah.
And, so, and then we had to add a bunch of saxophones because we were waiting on the vocals. We were like, fuck it, we're going to add some saxophones. Fuck it. And Leslie was like, oh, man, what the fuck?
Yeah. I was like, okay.
Yeah.
That's what they do.
Leslie leaves Corey or me recording it.
Yeah. Of course they have to add saxophones. Absolutely.
You ever lean on the understudies? Like, have you ever went to Black Metaphor like, yo, what you think about this mix?
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
And they be like, why you asking me? You the guys, but you never had them in that situation.
Yeah, because the young guys they know.
That's important. That's what I wanted to ask.
I don't want to age my ear out. You know.
That's important.
Yeah,
to stay in tune with them. That's dope
for sure. And I sent it to Colin's brutal too. He was like, this needs more 3K. He's super scientific.
Yeah, facts.
Yeah.
cold
1,000%.
cold,
1,000%.
yeah,
Cold.
A walking robot.
too much bass. These 3K, this and that. I was like,
I love it. I love it though.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and then my second part to that is, being that the young guys is around y'all a lot, do you get a chance to actually have them sit in and study with you on stuff? You do.
Yeah.
That's important.
Yeah, all the time, because I think it's important for them to learn, and then I can learn off them too. Because a lot of these guys are super quick. I'm like, how the fuck you that quick,
Bro,
You know
that's what we were just talking about. Like,
Yeah.
how'd you do that fast, bro? I'm
Yeah.
over here overthinking it.
Yeah, but sometimes they'll a little too fast, and then they'll skip over the quality of stuff.
Yeah.
Wait. That's no. That's the wrong clap. That's the wrong. Just do this. You know what I'm saying? I know you want to get it done quick, but let's slow it down a second, and then you know what I'm saying. We did that with one of Jeezy's albums, the Snowfall record. We were working, a bunch of young producers and stuff, and it was just a learning process, really, for us and for them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
We finally did a record together on that too. We finally did a record. That was our first time ever engaging in a co-production.
That's
Yeah.
crazy.
which was dope.
I love that record.
That record is incredible. Does anybody at the round table consider themselves having perfect pitch? I know I'm tone deaf. Like I make mistakes on purpose because I know that's what hip hop is, and I'm not just put myself in one genre because I've did many. But I don't hear anything. You know what I'm saying? But I have young producers around me that have perfect pitch, bro. They could call out a note like.
I don't trust those
I don't have that.
He said you don't trust those.
You said what?
You don't trust those
I don't
people.
trust those guys.
It's funny too. A lot of times, like I've seen this with jazz musicians that have perfect pitch. If anything in a production is time shifted,
Yep.
or
They
pitch
can't get past
shifted,
that.
They
they
malfunction.
can't get past it.
Yeah.
They're like,
They
it's not in
malfunction.
key.
Right.
It's not in key.
Yeah.
And then that's it.
They
It's
can't
like the
function.
whole
Yeah.
song is fucked because they can't compute.
You want to shoot for relative pitch, where you can like hear the key of the song and all the notes from that, but it
Right.
doesn't have to be 440A.
Yeah.
It can be 441 because of a pitch shift or whatever.
Right.
Samples become imperfect, all that kind of
The,
stuff.
the best musicians usually don't make the best producers.
Okay.
Right. Yeah, that's
okay.
definitely
The guys
true.
who can play really well, their production brain is too complicated.
That's
and
right.
They don't understand.
And vice
the
versa.
simplicity
Some
of field.
producers cannot play shit.
Yeah,
That's right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So vice versa. I want to have a little fun. M-Dub yesterday mentioned this story that when he first got a chance to work with you, he went to Chantrell's
Yes.
and got you some food. I think it was shrimp and rice.
Well, it was
and red cabbage.
You got me
Nope.
the curry chicken,
Yeah.
Curry chicken,
curry
okay.
chicken, rice, and cabbage. You're
And-
supposed to get cabbage.
And you got
red cabbage because that was all they had that day. And, I had just started at Patchwork, and it was like, if you want to get in with Leslie, you got to make sure he trusts you to get his food order right. 'Cause if you get the food order wrong, he's going to move you to the side. You're never going to sit in with him.
Right.
And I brought it back, and I was like, here you go, Les. And I dropped it off, and I just scurried along, and he called me back. He's like, hey, man, just so you know. Like, he wasn't rude, but he was just like, I said cabbage. And I was like, right, red cabbage. He's like, yeah, not red cabbage. Cabbage. And I was
And there's a backstory to the red cabbage thing. So I don't like beets. Beets
Yeah.
drive me crazy. And anything that looks like beets,
it's over with.
it can't
So
be
no
on
red
my plate.
onions and none of that.
Can't be on my
That's
plate.
crazy.
Wow.
Yeah.
See, I didn't know the backstory.
Yeah,
I didn't know it was
that's
so
why.
emotional.
Yes,
but,
it was a thing.
But I had a chance to make it more emotional. And I was really distraught. I was like, man, I moved to Atlanta. I already messed up with Leslie. My career's over.
Yeah.
And then the next day he came to the studio and he had a cold. Like he was, stopped up and he was like, I got to get through this record. He's like, can you go get me some Dayquil? I was like, yeah, for sure. Go to CVS, come back, and I was like, this is my only shot. So I get the package, and I get a marker, and I'm like, extra red cabbage juice now included, super red cabbage flavor. And I handed it to Leslie, and I was like, this is the only one they had, man. And he looked at it, and he was like, you kind of funny. I was like, does that mean I can sit in and watch you make records, please?
Yeah, I remember that.
That was a good icebreaker right there. That's a good
It's
icebreaker.
my only shot. I was like, it's a wrap. If I don't get this right,
Yeah.
I'm
I
gonna have to
remember
move
that.
to a new city.
Yeah, it's good. We have all this chemistry and just a lot of history together. You also spoke on just being there in that system and talking about the DJ aspect.
Oh man,
You know what I
yeah.
mean? And we got 3 DJs. I don't know if you DJ. I don't know if you DJ.
I don't DJ.
Nah.
Yeah,
All right, so we
people
got 3 DJs. And you asked me off camera about software.
Yeah, for sure.
I hate to say this because I was like one of the first ones to implement Serato in Visions in these clubs that I was DJing because I got tired of having.
Carrying crates.
Well, not only that, I had people that were sneaking in the party with me to carry the crates, but I had 6, 7, 8, 9 crates.
Of course,
I had an
yeah,
R&B crate that
Right.
had 100 records in it. I had, I used to move so fast between vibes that I would have to have at least 100 in each genre. And,
Yeah.
I was the one that would just sneak a That Way record from NSYNC or
Right.
Backstreet Boys,
Yeah.
just on some, because I know the club was like,
gotta do
oh, he dropped that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? We talked software. I was Serato first. I never got into Tractor.
Yeah,
I
me
never
either.
got into Record Box, I think, had one.
Yeah,
All
same.
those things. Watching him and Manny in the studio DJing, what was that like?
I mean, that was unbelievable for me because, one of the reasons I wanted to learn from Les was all the stuff he did with Cash Money.
Right.
And then he has a great relationship with Fresh. So Fresh is there just hanging out. And I'm like, Fresh is always talking about DJ Manny Fresh. I was like, I wonder if he's a real DJ. And I had my turntables downstairs, and I was like, Les, you think I could bring him up? He's like, yeah, you and Fresh can battle it out. And I was like, haha, I'm going to show Fresh a little something. And then, Fresh got on. I was like, oh, man.
Yeah, Fresh
I was like, no, Fresh is a real
Fresh is
DJ.
a whole
learned
lot
that
of
day.
Yeah, I mean, old school too. He's the transformer scratch, using the actual
Yep.
transformer. I was like, oh,
He went
man,
crazy.
he's old school with it. It was great too. And then just that was so much fun watching Fresh in his element. He is DJ Manny Fresh,
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
to the letter.
Yeah, and your style, your
Oh, yeah.
Serato.
Yeah, I use Serato, and I also use Serato Studio when I do my little production and remix. I just did like a string of remixes for Rhapsody,
Right.
Because I mixed her album, and then she put out an acapella album to get people like doing remixes. I had fun doing that. But Serato's like just intuitive.
Yep.
It's fun. It's easy. I just love it. I love
Yeah.
messing with it. I love the things you could do with it, and I got a lot of my crates from him.
I was about to
When
say
first
that
started
about
really getting
about
back
three-
into
about
it.
three
No,
years ago.
he got-
I hit him up, and I was like, let me get some crates.
He got
And-
all my crates.
Yeah.
Leslie saved my life. This is a true story. When I was an intern, broke as it could be, no more money in the bank. I might have to hang it up. I just got no more money. I can't keep going on. Leslie's like, oh yeah, I love your record collection. This was it. I had used this through Boston to pay for my whole life, and Leslie bought it from me. And it was that was the money that I needed
Yeah.
to
Wow.
keep going. Leslie don't need all those records. I bet they went straight to a storage unit.
Wow.
You know what I mean? But that money saved my life.
shirt,
That's
look at
real
this
talk
shirt.
right there.
Look at this
That's-
shirt.
this is a
God
blessing.
hears you.
And I tell everybody
You know
all the
what I'm
time.
saying?
Yeah. And if they are in a storage unit and you want to sell them back to me, I will take them back because I love those things. But I love the opportunity you gave me
Where are
more.
those
That's
records
real.
now?
You know what's so funny? Some of them during COVID I brought to my house.
Did you?
I had a whole incident with a storage unit. I'll tell you that off mic. But but I got most of those.
Man.
I got them.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was a blessing of all time right
Yeah,
there.
man.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Let's get into some of the not so fun stuff.
Ooh. We got
so-
stories for days.
I mean,
that's the best stuff.
we got the stories, but I want to go serious before I go to fun.
Okay.
I told these guys again off camera, one of the most important stories I heard in my life came from you, and it was like a segment I do on Backtrack, and it's called "Live and Die for Music." Sometimes it's not dying, but it's just going to the end of the earth for what you believe in and how you live. And I tell the story, and you may be able to tell it better, but I tell the story in a short space of how you went to listen to Tribe Called Quest at the store,
Yeah.
and your friends were with you, and you wanted to stay and listen and told them to have fun. You found out the next day they had died in a car accident, which you could have been in that same position. But you loved and you were so into Low End Theory at the time. You could not leave and go party. You couldn't hang with nobody. You couldn't go drink. You had to listen to this. Is there some things where you've done something in the name of your craft? I'll tell you one. Mine's is funny, but my mom used to. I guess this is past the jurisdiction. My mom used to statute of limitation. My mom used to give me money to go get groceries to eat. I used to just put bags in my pocket. She don't know this. She's probably gonna get mad when she hears this, but I used to put bags in my pocket and go to the grocery store, steal all the groceries, and then go to the record store and spend the grocery store money on records. I don't think that should be mad now because bro, you made a career out of it.
Right,
You know what I'm
right.
saying? But is there something fun or serious that you guys? That's his story.
Absolutely.
That you guys went through in the name of your craft. I've heard plenty of stories. I've heard Needles told me that, he got his daughter is autistic, and she wound up having a Netflix special about it. But he had to go through, at 21, he had cancer. You know what I'm saying? He had to fight through that in the mind state of not knowing if you're going to live through cancer anymore. You know what I mean? Is there something that you fought for in the name of your craft? Anybody can jump in.
Man, I didn't think about that one.
Like I said, it could be a fun story. Mine's just fun.
Yeah.
It could be that, because that was true. I'm supposed to be here moment. I didn't have that moment till I was 25. You know what I'm saying? Where
Right.
I was like, oh, Jay-Z got on my record. Oh, I'm supposed to be here.
Right,
You know what I'm saying? Before that, I was like, bro, what am I doing? Like, I'm just having fun, but is this gonna pan out? So, have you anything fun or serious?
Well, I always approach every time I make a record with the fact that this record could change somebody's life. And there's not a lot of industries where
Right.
when you go to work every day, some kid in Nebraska could hear this and it saves their life.
I like
and
that.
I don't even know if I'm ever going to meet those people.
I like that.
But and I'm proud of every record I've made, the ones that are hits, the ones that are bricks, everywhere in between. I'm always proud that I got the chance to help somebody's vision come all the way out. But maybe one that I'm most proud of was last year, my church, Passion City Church, they do a conference at Mercedes-Benz, 75,000 people. And we recorded that and, put that out. And that was a live album, and I don't do a lot of live, but I got a chance to mix that. And, I felt like that was a real humbling experience to be able to put that out and just share it with people, maybe I hope one of those records reach people somewhere and that changed their lives.
I didn't know that was your church. I went
Yeah.
to Passion at the Dome last year.
Oh, that's the album I mixed. That's the one, because
yeah,
it was last
yeah,
year,
yeah.
2024.
Yeah, a lot of the people from Maverick City are friends.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. They're
Yeah, I
great.
didn't know
yeah.
that was your church.
Yes, there you go. But really just any chance to make a record that affects somebody is something that you got to be grateful for, and I don't take it lightly.
That's heroic.
Yeah, I don't know if I didn't have a life or death experience with music, but it's definitely like a big grind that, I went through years and years of production. At one point I was composing, writing original music for television shows, which I hated, because it's like
Jingles.
yeah, this like old TV producer telling you to make something sound like The Pretenders, and by the way, you got 2 hours to do it.
Yep.
And it was like, that wasn't fun. And then, finally getting back into creating music creatively. But that took like years and years, and then building that with artists like that were coming up, or bigger named artists, it takes like just a ton of time. And you have to have that, like, you have to stick with it through all that difficulty. I could have given up so many times and maybe tried to do something else. But I feel like with music, for me, like I kind of grew up in a musical family, so it was like that's what I was gonna do, whether I failed doing it
like
or
brushing your
not.
teeth.
I would have,
Yeah.
That was it. There was no choice for me to do something else.
Same. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, when your back is against the wall, man, it's like with me, like I said, yesterday, that tunnel vision is a necessity.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You got to be selfish. You got to be willing to damn near die, really, starve for this shit. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Shit, I don't have a lot of gracious stories. You know what I'm saying? When it comes to my come up and Coleon's come up, because there's still a lot of people around us that we still associate with that, that are still, whatever.
Yeah. Fighting for the life.
Yeah, still fighting for the life.
Yeah.
So I don't really have a lot of those cool stories that I can share, but there's a lot of sacrifices, a lot of just having that tunnel vision, just knowing the end game. You know what I'm saying? And then like a lot of people not believing you, even your own family.
Oh my God.
Yeah, they're like, you're fucking nuts. Like, what?
They the ones that don't believe you more than some other people.
Yeah, and I'm lucky that I do have a dad that's a musician, a famous musician, that he always believed in me, but he always stayed out of my way. Mm-hmm. It was like, he was never like, you gotta do this, you gotta do this, you gotta do this. He just let me do my thing and just figure it out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And become a man, basically.
Yeah.
It's everybody else that doesn't, they can't really fathom the success. Like, yo, how?
It's tough.
Yeah.
Jay-Z once brilliantly said that that's usually an indictment on what they feel about themselves.
Yeah.
They can't see themselves being that successful.
They're forcing their
so they
fears
project
on
that
you.
on you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they be
projecting
like,
their
nah,
fears,
you
yeah.
can't.
Yeah.
There's no way you're gonna be successful. I had teachers. I remember one time I was doing a project, and this was in summer camp, and I remember saying I'm gonna win a bunch of Grammys and I'm gonna work with Michael Jackson. I said that. I still have the thing, and I wrote a little thing, and the teacher broke my spirit. She was like, "That's so unrealistic. You gotta say something better." Da da da. And I did both of those things. So like, it wasn't unrealistic to me.
No, yeah.
So to your point,
Yeah, exactly.
It's
It's,
brain.
you gotta have, like, it's so weird because I was, at one point I had a regular 9 to 5, right? But then on the weekends, I'll be going to New York or LA working with Angie Stone, rest in peace, or working with Jaheim, working with all these people. And I go back to my job, I'm like, you know what I'm saying? I'm just like, I'm in a fucking studio with these big stars at the time. I'm like, man, fuck this shit, yo. I gotta
commit.
Yeah. So I purposely got fired. I was working at a call center, and I would just hang up on people. I would just see how long I can get away with that shit until they fired
Working at
me.
a call center and hanging up on people is crazy work.
That is crazy.
The biggest waste of talent.
Jake one told me a story when I sat with him, and he was saying that for his first 10 to 12 years of his career, he still worked a job. He had records with G-Unit. He had records with all these people. He said he'd be at his job, and Busta Rhymes would call him like, "Yo, you spazzed on that record." And he'd have him on speaker, and everybody like, "Yo, what are you doing here? Why are you at this job?" And he was like, "Bro, I just, I didn't think it was realistic, until he got a $30,000 check." And he was like, "Okay, cool." That was 2 years of his salary that he was like, "Oh yeah, I don't need to be here." Yeah, I just wanted to talk about sacrifice, and because I did so much deep diving in my later years and learning myself and knowing where the core of problems come in. One of the things that I got in a bad space with myself was, over the years, I didn't want to have kids because I thought that was going to disturb me getting to the highest level. Something that ran parallel with that was, and it might sound a little selfish, but coming up, if there was I associated my dad playing guitar with him not making his goal and becoming a teacher in life. I thought that was a failure. And in college, I sat anybody I came in contact with, and I asked them what they wanted to do. If it wasn't technology, if it wasn't business management, if it wasn't music, if it wasn't ball playing, or, I had like a kind of like shield up against. So anybody that I have a conversation, they'd be like, "Yeah, I'm going to school. I'm going to be a teacher." I used to be like, "Nope, can't hang with them." And I felt like then I didn't know that that's why God is putting certain things in your life to help pass on legacies to people and to share. A lot of us, and not this table because we're similar, we scroll check and tie up the scrolls. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
How important is it to not have the scroll always closed and be like, "Yo, I'm sharing with you." Like I'll show somebody how I made the beat and show them what I did and how I did it and where I got it and where I shot. I don't care because we're two individuals.
Right.
Yeah.
How important is that to share the scroll?
I think for me it's super important. Anybody that know me know that that's who I am as a person, and the reason why is because you got to really get in touch with this concept. I've heard Pharrell talk about it a couple times. I've heard different people, but you got to really get in touch with this concept that none of it is from you.
Yep.
And if for me, I'm a big believer in God. All of that comes through me, so I don't have to gatekeep nothing. Anything I learned, I could teach to somebody. I could give away for free because the value of what I do comes from this gift that God gave me.
That's right.
I'm not worried about whatever I teach to Miles and he go run with it and do whatever. Yep. And I say this all the time, and I know it sounds, to some people, it may sound a little corny or, too spiritual, but for me, nobody could take off of my plate what God put on my plate.
That's right.
Nobody. So no matter how much I give it away, no matter how much I teach it, no matter who I put in whatever position, what is for me is always going to be for me. So like for me, I'm crystal clear on it ain't mine to begin with.
Well said.
Yeah.
You know, I was lucky to be around Leslie for many years and watch his personal life change. You know, he was very successful before I came into his picture. And, you know, I was
What
like,
we talking about? Ferrari, Les? What we talking about?
we Ferrari, Bentley, and what else do we have? In the range, I think it was.
We talking penthouse, Leslie? What we talking about?
Exactly. And, you know, and that's why I had moved to Atlanta, to be like Leslie. And, you know, I always liked the idea of family and kids, but Leslie was a solo dude. It was, you know, late night Halo in the studio, and that's what's up.
Right.
And then I watched Doris come into his life.
Yeah.
And I watched, you know, I'm going to cut out a little early. I'm not going to play Halo till 4 in the morning. I'm just going to play till midnight. And I'm like, oh, okay, cool. And I watched the girls come into his life, and I watched, like, that change, and I was like, that's part of success, too. It's not just the records. It's not just the
Facts.
Ferrari. It's the family. And when you can do that, it, like, changed my perspective of you can have everything.
You can have both.
You can have it all. And you can,
1000%.
and, like, so he didn't know, but he was sharing that to me because I was in there to learn about R compressor and SPX 90 symphonic mode and all the other Leslie settings.
But you were seeing work-life balance. You were seeing, yeah.
But it was the family growth that stuck with me the most, and that's what I took into my own
That's
space.
dope.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, as far as the scroll things, I think it's very, very important because I don't believe in secrets.
Yeah.
To be honest.
Me neither. We all don't. That's why I said
Yeah.
this table isn't.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to show the audience to not gatekeep.
Yeah.
Like, you know,
Ain't no
that's a
That's
form
corny.
of insecurity to
Yeah.
me. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think it's corny. I think, but to Leslie's point, I remember I would used to watch him, and I would ask him questions. You're like, yeah, this is this, and I try to redo it, and I cannot get it to sound how he does it.
Character.
You know what I'm saying? So it's really just
Yeah.
your own taste, your own thing. You know what I'm
Absolutely.
saying? So you can copy the settings exactly. It's not gonna sound the same.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Yeah.
And same with us. You can copy our. I'll give you exactly. I've released all the sounds to Maybach Music, to Aston Martin Music, all that shit. But then it's not gonna sound the same.
Yeah.
You
Of
know
course
what I'm
not. I hope they wasn't trying to make it the same.
Yeah.
Right.
You know what I mean?
But you know, so I've learned a lot from Leslie because you know he's the godfather over here. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I learned a lot from my own dad too, because he's a musician. He's a touring musician with Al Di Meola now, and him being a musician and me growing up, he has to be on tour a lot.
Yep.
So he wasn't home a lot.
Yep.
So when I'm a kid, I don't understand that. I just wander around, you know what I'm saying? But when you get older, it's like, oh shit, this dude really sacrificed his time with us for us to have a home. You know what I'm saying?
1000%.
And then, so that taught me, I was like, oh shit, that level of sacrifice, easy. And to your point, which is why I didn't have kids and all that, because I felt like it would have been selfish. I didn't want to do that. You know what I'm saying? I didn't want to, but now I'm older, now I'm married, I got stepkids now, so I'm on cruise control.
Yeah.
Cruise control.
Yeah.
I got a successful career and it's like whatever, you know what I'm saying? But before, when you're on the come up, you got to work all day, all night, you know what I'm saying? So that level of sacrifice and just really guys like Leslie and everybody here just kind of just opening their scrolls to us is I think it's key. And like you said, gatekeeping is wild. It's just wild.
Not so fun. Okay, so we got that out the way. Not so fun. And I'm going to give you the actual prerequisite to it. I spoke on some stuff yesterday that I do not fuck with, right? But it's all in change. Change my mind. You know what I mean? Yesterday we talked about gear. We're going to go back to gear, and we're going to go back to other things that it could be anything in the universe. I said yesterday I do not fuck with Genelecs speakers. But Genelec changed my mind. This is the platform it's for. They said they love barefoots. I'm a Focal man. Focal.
Yeah.
Pieces of gear. I'm going to put it all in one. Yesterday I separated questions. Pieces of gear. Outboard gear, plugins, speakers, people's attitudes. What don't you fuck with?
What don't I fuck with? So let's start with speakers. Me too. I don't like Genelecs, to be honest with you. Never liked them.
He made it soft. I don't like Genelecs.
Yeah, never liked them. Plugins. Any plugin that does not aesthetically look cool, I don't like. And I know that's quirky as shit, but
I'm petty too.
I'm like, and I'm like that with anything. So like even, I know this is gonna sound weird as shit.
Beats.
If I walk up to an ATM machine and it looks like one of them whack ass looking ATM machines, if I have to get money out of it, I will. But I would like, I don't like interfacing with anything that does not look cool.
I like that
it
too.
drives me
I
crazy.
like that too.
So if a plugin does not look cool, it automatically ain't gonna get no use. Like, and that's why I love the Safari plugins so much, because they look cool as hell and they dope.
sound good.
So it's like that's what got me hooked on them, is because they were like, I saw Tizio using them one time, and I hit Tizio and was like, "Yo, what's up with these Safari pads?" He's like, "Bro, try them out. You're gonna like them." And then But so that's plugins, speakers. What else? Outboard gear.
Outboard gear.
That I do not fuck with. Anything that's super noisy.
Okay.
Don't like noise. Never like noise. All that long live analog. Nope, that's not me. Give me digital. I don't want no noise. One piece of gear. It's funny. I had a very love-hate relationship with the Tube Tech CL1B, because it's a great compressor.
That reminds me. I've asked you a couple times about buying those, and he was like, "Yeah."
I had a
you
love
never
hate.
really said. You
I had a
didn't fuck with
love-hate
it.
relationship with them, because I tracked a lot of stuff through the CL1B,
Yeah.
but I also don't love and it really wasn't specific to the CL1B. I just don't like noisy gear in general. So like, I'm not one of them long-lived analog dudes and gotta have a rack and da-da-da.
It's funny. I just bought one. And I hooked it up. I was like, what the fuck? Yeah. I was like, what the fuck? This is so goddamn noisy.
Yeah, it's noisy as hell.
So I was
Tube maintenance is not for everybody.
It's
not.
It's
You
just
know,
noisy as hell.
Definitely not.
Go solid state.
Definitely.
Yeah.
And then you said type of person or people?
Let's just go with a personality you can do without.
Wow, there's so many. So I'm trying to narrow this down to
Something that just grinds your gears.
Okay.
In a work setting or just personally.
I
and you
actually
know
had
that.
to address this just yesterday, and I'll be brief. I don't like when people don't have core respect for other people. And I had to address this with a young lady at Full Sail the other day, where she sent me an email, and the email was really harsh, and she cursed and all that. And I sent her a reply, and I said, hey, before we can even get to the topic of what you're talking about, you have to readdress me with the right tone.
Yeah.
I can't do disrespect. I can't do unprofessionalism. So that is a big gear grinder for me, when people don't have the respect. Because, and I had to deal with this with Jeezy. Not that Jeezy was very disrespectful, but Jeezy was used to talking to people a certain kind of way. Mm-hmm. And he came in, this was very early on when he was working. He had like a bunch of guns on the table and all that stuff. And he was like barking orders at me because they were filming something. And I pulled him outside in the little vestibule in the 9,000 room at Patchwork. And I said, hey, man, I know we don't know each other well, and I'm not street. I never shot nobody. I don't do none of that. But you got to talk to me a certain kind of way, or else I can't do this. Like, I was very polite.
Respectable.
I just let him know, like, I don't do people yelling at me, cussing at me. And if that's what you need, I can't be your engineer. Like, I had to let him know. I can't function when people are disrespecting me. I cannot. So I can't do the...
He's sensible. He got it.
He got it right away.
got
He
it.
was like, he looked at me and was like, my bad, homie, my bad. I just be, they filming on edge, but my bad. You right, da-da-da. Because it's a respect thing. I wasn't trying to show him up, or I was just trying to say, bro, don't curse at me.
right.
Don't yell at me. Don't. So
Put you
any
on edge.
artist,
You can't get nowhere.
any artist that ever yelled at me, and I got into it with Peter Pablo about that. I had to pull Peter Pablo aside, and he was like, kind of geeked up, or I don't know what he was on, but we did not work out because of that.
Colin.
Yeah, sometimes the people in the music business can be pretty rude.
Yeah. I don't do.
on all levels.
I
and
check
it's
that
like,
ASAP.
Wait a second.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Check that ASAP.
we don't need to work again in the future.
Absolutely not.
This is part 2. What don't you fuck with? I think yesterday you showed a little bit of, space for the gold clip. I would never say you hate it. You know what I'm saying?
I said I don't fuck with it.
But again, you look at your camera. It changed his mind. That's what we're here for. This isn't the bash to get people away from making their money on their plugins or their philosophies on what they see. This is to change the 500 billion stream guy's mind. Part 2, what don't you fuck with?
Oh man, it's not that. I think that
People don't know. They don't know how to use it.
it's people using
right.
it and
and
not knowing
bad
how to
users,
use it and when to stop.
Yeah.
It can cause a lot of damage.
They suffered the knockout. Let's move from them. Let's get to something else. It was a blow, but change our mind. But go ahead. What else?
Slate FGX.
Okay.
No. It's a no-go on me for that. As soon as I heard that plugin, I was like back in the day, I was like, no, this isn't very
What's
good.
his name? Mike that owns it. What's the guy's name? Steven.
Steven,
I'm sorry.
yeah.
Steven.
Yeah.
Changed his mind.
Gen 1 or Gen 2, because there was an algorithm change between the two of them.
He stopped. Once it got there,
Yeah, he's
there
like,
was
I don't
no
know.
change. It's like, hey, you can't fix.
They're similar, but I just was curious.
And any of the isotope stuff, I'm out.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wow.
Some people live
Some people live by isotope,
Yeah.
and I'm,
ozone.
Yeah.
yeah, I'm like you.
I don't love the sound of it
Same.
at all,
Yeah.
and I also don't like the way that they like do business like in the marketplace.
There you go.
Interesting.
Okay.
Interesting.
Let's correct that. Yeah, because Jason Joshua swears by Ozone 4.
Yeah,
He made a craze online for many years on why he sounded how he sounded, and he put it out there was Ozone 4.
I didn't know that. I wonder if he's still using it.
I think that he took his philosophy out of that and put it into God particles.
God particle. Yeah,
And then
he did.
God
I saw him
particles
do a
is-
breakdown on it.
I think that because so many iOS changes happened,
Right. Yeah, you can't
most
run
people
4
couldn't
anymore.
get Ozone 4, so he was like, I need to make what I feel was
I
in
saw
the
him do a
machine.
video on that.
And it was God part. He actually told me this because I called him several years ago and I was like, bro, one of these Uzi records in particular, it didn't sound like nothing else we had. And I was like, yo, where'd you? He was like, Ozone 4, bro. I did my thing there, Ozone 4. You know what I'm saying? Bro, you don't got Ozone 4? And I'm
That's
like,
Jason.
I can't
Yeah.
get it on my computer.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
I
that's
think God Particle came
Was
from
that? Yes.
So I don't want to stay there, outboard gear
That I like.
that you
Don't
fuck
like.
with.
Man, I mean, there's so much. I feel like just because there's only a few pieces that I think are like, good for my setup.
Yeah.
Just
Tell me what's overrated. We can jump from not fucking with it, but I just definitely want people to change our
like
mind.
as far as mastering stuff, like I don't like. Well, people aren't gonna like this, but PMC speakers, they're like a no go to me. Like as soon as someone has like big PMC speakers, I'm like they're not really hearing what they should be hearing.
There you go.
I agree.
Yeah, I've argued that. I've
agree.
argued that.
I agree.
What else? Mazalek. That stuff sounds broken to me. The analog gear, but I'm not even sure if that's being manufactured anymore. They had a couple of okay pieces. The de-esser was cool and stuff,
Nice.
but the EQs are like, and the mastering stuff sounds off.
Okay.
So, yeah.
You said Pro Tools yesterday. This fucked my whole brain up.
Yeah.
He
Pro
said-
Tools what?
He said he do not fuck
Yeah,
with Pro
I
Tools.
don't like
Yeah.
it. I know how to work it. I can work it.
He
and
can work it, but he don't.
I
like
will
it.
work in it, but
Wow.
don't like it.
It fu- it
I'm
fucked
a
me
Logic
up.
guy,
Yeah,
you know.
Yeah, I mean,
right.
It fucked me up because I'm like,
But I
well,
will work in
Logic
it.
is more of a producer's tool.
Yeah.
it is.
Pro Tools is more of a mixer, recorder,
Yeah.
engineer's
It
tool.
is.
Yeah. If I
That's
have to do Pro
interesting.
Tools, I will. But
What's your part 2 of?
well, I talked about the microphones.
You talked about microphones. We're getting rid of that. We're just gonna go. You talked about speakers? I think you talked about speakers.
Yeah.
You said you were a Barefoot fan.
I love barefoot.
Yeah.
I put you on a focal, I think, way back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I love those. I still got my
I
original.
love the Focals.
But let's talk about since you covered those topics, let's talk about personalities.
Ooh. That's
So
a good
just
one.
give me 2 personalities that grind your gears.
Groupies is one. Male or female, doesn't matter.
Facts.
There you
know
go.
what I'm saying?
Facts.
Yeah.
I was waiting for that one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you ain't got shit to do with the record,
Why are you
around,
here? Yeah, why are you here? Yeah.
ordering food on our budget and shit
Yeah.
like that.
Get lost.
That's why I like mixing at home. I'm telling
Yeah.
you.
Get lost.
And man, you know what? my brother Colin, he's gonna hate me when I say it. You know what I'm saying? Because he a big smoker, but I don't like smokers.
Hey,
Bro.
shit, I'm with you.
all right.
I'm
Bro.
with you. I do not like smoking.
Cigarette smoke is my least
I'm talking about weed.
favorite
I don't
thing.
like weed
But I don't like.
on
I don't like.
I don't like
the
weed, crack.
I don't like weed smoke
cigarettes.
either.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't like weed smoke either, but
Hookah.
cigarette smoke, and
Yeah.
all my assistants know.
Yeah.
That's actually a criteria.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
can't be my assistant if you smoke. Because even if you try to smoke outside or whatever,
Smell.
You
Comes
still
back,
smell.
yeah,
Yeah.
for
I
sure.
can't do it.
Smells the whole studio.
I've actually had assistants quit smoking just because they want to work with me.
Yeah.
Because I can't do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would quit. But my bad, Cody, man. I like you, bro, man.
Yeah.
What you thinking?
For attitudes that you don't like?
Because you covered, what did we say yesterday? You didn't like Slate 2? Was it? What did you like?
No. It's, I don't like the model microphones.
model
Yeah, I don't-
Model microphones.
But
right.
for attitudes I don't like being around is like the one-upper attitude. If someone's trying to share a success.
I hate that.
Oh, yeah, I do that too. You know, but mine is this plus that. And it's like that energy is so bad. And you come across it a lot, like, you know.
Like,
And
I
mean,
mixed Katy Perry second.
yeah.
You know.
I
I
mean,
mean, he did this. Oh, Sep, Benny Blanco was there, and Max Martin.
That's
I
right.
believe that it was not Max Martin. You were doing. No, you know
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
and you know, like, I mean, I think there's enough room for everybody to share in the success
Absolutely.
of a record that we can all be part of it.
1,000%.
That's right.
You know, and yeah, that energy is just no fun.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
don't think that's fun.
So I'll give you mine, and it goes back to him. I didn't touch on this, and that was going to talk to engineers that get high. If I'm going to get a record mix, or I'm going to explain how this vibe is supposed to be, I don't want to see you rolling up. I don't want to see you high. I don't want to see you drunk.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Do what you want to do. I'm not judging. I'm just saying, as far as where I'm going, the focus needs to be in a certain place. And it's a two-way street, because some people smoke and get really focused. But I do think that, and it's just what I think, it impairs how
Absolutely.
you hear. And that's one of my pet peeves that I don't really fuck with.
Even outside of the hearing, just like the deliverables. We're responsible for file management.
Yeah,
You're
like-
oh, did I send that? Bro, no, that's not the space.
Did I print that
Yeah, yeah.
stem?
Right.
I almost
Leave
think
one
if you
track
lost a
muted
hard
or-
drive, you were getting high.
Yeah, right, exactly.
It's like
You know
I'm
what I mean?
so paranoid about losing a drive. Like,
Yeah.
how did you lose that? And be like, damn, I don't know.
Yeah.
What you mean you don't know? Like, I can imagine coming in here to see Colin, and he turns around, and is like, what's up?
Yeah.
I'll be like, yo, cut it. We're done. You know what I'm saying?
Yo, your sessions are gone.
Oh no,
I don't know where your session is.
Allegro file security is down, bro.
He spoke yesterday about being on the island, and if he had to run with one thing, just stranded and whatever it was.
The Waves plugins.
Waves plugins. Yours.
I'd say Fab Filter, because they're just transparent enough. There's no vibes, so I hope the record already has vibes.
Yeah, I remember.
But you know, like
Design.
Oh, yeah.
EQ7. He hates
that was the one
shit.
I hated. Yeah, that's right.
He
Yeah,
hates
the EQ7. It's just not good at being transparent. Not good at being.
Okay.
I use it for
Mojo.
one thing. I use it to
Telephone?
No, I use it to notch
Notch
frequencies out, because
frequency.
it's just basic. I just
Yeah.
like pull a frequency.
So your live or die piece of equipment.
Well, you know, if it's a bundle, we're talking about that. Like Fab Filter's got a lot of tools. You know, they're not vibey, but that's okay. They're not trying to be. But you know, you can correct a lot of stuff, and I like to enhance somebody's vibe that's already in there. So like a lot of correction stuff. So I use the Fab Filter stuff a lot.
Okay.
It's transparent.
Safari pedals.
There you go.
Live or die.
Safari
Sauce
pedals.
on it.
I've gotten to a point where I've been like training myself to use all the different plugins that they have to see if I can only do a mix with Safari pedals.
Yeah.
And I like the lineup of of plugins that they have. Like,
The new mastering compressor. Yeah.
Man, that thing is
That's tough.
Those things
Yeah.
are good, man. Shout out to Safari Pedals. They're
Facts.
really good.
Shout out to
They're really,
Noam.
really good.
SPLPQ, the old version.
there you go.
Yeah. Colin had
one.
jokes on me because I had the new one. I was like, I'm like you. You're like, you're not like me. Yeah. He corrected me real
These are
quick.
the
He's
one
like,
things
you're
in
not
your
like
world
me.
You're not like
that-
me.
they bring you to a happy space.
Like, you're not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's
real
like one EQ sounds like a kind of a thick transistor tape sound in an EQ that's like smooth and super thick.
Yeah.
I bought mine because Colin used his, but I had the new one, and he was like, "No." I was like, "Oh." Made me sad.
I'll give you mine as we wrap up, and it's the ASR. ASR 10, ASR X Pro, ASR Rack. I'm everything in Sonic when it comes to sound. I live and die by that. Even if I use Ableton sometimes, I'm strictly a keyboard, and that's why I say we were going to fight today on camera because he has an ASR 10 hat.
That's
I want to
crazy.
know who found you, where'd you found it, where you were digging, because you're known to have these things. I see Griselda, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, those are my
I
guys.
see the hat, you know what I'm saying? So I'm just like, I've never in my life seen an ASR.
I've never
10
seen an
hat.
ASR.
Yeah,
Somebody,
same.
did you make this?
No.
Okay.
It found me.
I don't understand that. We break that
Okay.
and what it found me.
You know how the phones listen to you, right?
So basically, what you're saying is he gonna start scrolling and see an
got
ASR
Insta
10
guide.
hat
Yeah, that's right.
on
Just start saying
eBay.
it.
We all
ASR
are.
10 hat.
No,
ASR 10 hat.
actually-
ASR 10 hat.
Actually, I think it was a dude that actually helped me fix my ASR 10. I think he makes them.
Oh wow.
I just ordered off his website.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I'm not a
crazy.
copycat, but I'll get a red one for the ASR X Pro.
The X.
'Cause that hat is admirable, man. I'm just over here like, damn.
There
I
have been
need to
some
become
legendary records made on ASR 10s.
Yeah,
Man.
there's a lot of there's and to get back, and this is how we got. This is why I start backwards and start and end here, the legacy of it, the equipment. You're starting to see a lot of people online getting back to outboard gear. One of them was Toomp, showed his ASR and how he made a beat. Kanye's been doing his rants through the ASR. Travis Scott put up a picture of his ASR. Metro Boomin. Every generation is starting to put this up. But you're also starting to see people get back to boards. You're starting people get back to tape. I was telling I might have cuts from where I started. And, with
I
tape.
do too. I
You
do.
know what I'm saying? The legacy. How do we feed that moving forward for the culture?
I think it's a good challenge for the young kids to see some of their favorite records' origin.
Yeah.
And the biggest thing that it does that they've never had is it takes the screen out of their face. Yeah. They're not engineering, they're engineering. They're looking at it and making decisions.
Engineering.
Engineering is wow.
Put that on a
Looks-
t-shirt.
yeah,
Put something together. 50-50.
There you go. Rook knows a guy.
Yeah.
But I think, it was just you had to listen.
Yep.
You knew it was right when it sounded right.
Yeah.
That's the product we're delivering is something you listen to. I mean, there's going to be a visual attached to it, but we're not in charge of that. So if you have to think about the sound and make it the best it could possibly be, something like an MP, something like an ASR, it's just the sound. And when it's right, it's right.
Yeah.
I think what you see is so there's two schools of thought that I share on it, which is nothing ever really moves backwards, but things do cycle. And what you're seeing is that resurgence of people getting back to what I think is the most important question. I always tell people, whenever you see me or any other engineer or producer that you want to learn from doing a thing, the most important question you can ask is not what piece of gear I'm using or what plugin. The most important question you can ask is, why did I do that?
Yep.
And so that's what you're seeing with the cycle is it's getting back to the why.
That's right.
And that's what I see when people gravitate back to the gear and back to the sounds. It's not that we're going to move back to analog. What they're chasing is the why did it sound so good? Sure, yeah. Why were we able to create this way? And so that's what you start to see in new things coming. But the most important thing you can learn from anybody is the why. Why do they make the decisions they make? Why do they make the moves they make? So I think that's what you're seeing in that legacy
Yep.
thing of old school stuff. And it's not to bring back analog. It's just to get back to the essential question of why. Why did that sound so damn good? We do it all the time. We be sitting around listening to records. We be like, man, what was they on when they made this? Or I remember just recently I did a deep dive on Off the Wall, and I'm listening to it, and I'm like, bro. Yeah. And then I saw a Quincy interview where it got me to the why, because I always would ask, why does this sound this way? Quincy did an interview recently. He didn't do it recently, but I just saw this interview recently. Y'all may have seen it, where he talks about one of his techniques, especially when he was doing the Michael albums, is he would only do the musician sessions late at night. And his reason was because their brains would shut off because they would be dumb tired and they would just play.
Right.
And all the magic came when they were the most tired.
Yep.
So he said all the sessions he recorded for Off the Wall, Thriller, he usually did them super late at night, like at close to the end of the night, like at 4 a.m, 3 a.m, when they were dumb tired, because that's what. So he would like sit there working all night, and then he would get the take at the end of the night.
Yep.
And he said, so his why was because their brain shut off, and then they just be doing the most magical shit ever. So I'm into the why of getting back to that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Well said. I think I'm like, yeah, I don't need to say anything else. Right? But we're live at the Goat Farm, the table full of goats. Even though you won't call yourself a goat, I'll call you
I
a
just
goat.
fit the description.
It just fits the description. Casual, great conversation again, and this is the episode of Legacy. And I want y'all to tune into that. If you like it, make sure you like and subscribe now. Tomorrow Network.